Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm honored that you're here. Today we are going to have, I should do a little prelude or I have this necklace on. I was doing some videos earlier and I'm hoping that it's kind of been noisy today. So I'm hoping that you guys don't hear it. Otherwise I will take it off. But I wanted to answer a question or give you some tips today on how to tell if a piece of furniture is real wood or not. I've shared many videos of me inside thrift stores sharing different things that you can look for, or actually walking through different pieces at the thrift store as I'm there and sharing how to tell if it's real wood or not. But there are definitely some things that you can look for. It's a question that I get often. I'm sharing furniture makeovers all the time, and I love, if I'm going to refinish a piece or paint a piece, I do like to work with real wood pieces just because I think the outcome is so much better. I know a lot of paint products and companies, have developed paints and other products that can help you paint over pieces that aren't actual wood. But I just think the entire process, it's just better, easier. It just flows better. It just looks better. It holds up better. So, I would highly recommend, if you are, flipping pieces of furniture, that you do look for real wood pieces. Say that fast 3 times, when you're out hunting for them, just so you get the best outcome. So here are a few things, or a few things to look for, when you're at a thrift store, yard sale, estate sale, antique store, wherever you are that you're finding off Facebook Marketplace, wherever you are finding pieces. Just some things that you should look for to know for certain that it is a real wood piece. My number one tip is to open the drawers and look at the sides of the drawers. So where the drawer front meets the sides of the drawer, if it's a real wood piece, you will see some dovetailing on the sides. It's just the way that the sides of the drawers and the front of the drawers are put together, if that makes sense. So there's dovetail, and depending on the time frame or the era that the piece is from, the dovetail can look different. It can look more, uniform and right after each other, which is a later piece. I mean, still amazing. The earlier dovetails are thinner. They're kind of thinner and they're more spread apart on the sides of the drawers. Either way, both of those are sure tale signs that you have a full or a real wood piece of furniture. There are some other ones that aren't, and by dovetail, they kind of look like a dovetail. They're triangles. They kind of look like, I guess, the tail of a dove, but they're basically kind of triangular shaped. I have found some pieces where they're more straight, but again, it's the same kind of thing, that is how the drawers are kind of put together. They're not put together by, screws or nails or anything per se. They're just, that's how the drawers are put together. So that is as soon as you walk up to a piece, open the drawers and look at the sides of the drawers and see if they have that feature. That's the number one easiest way you can find out if it's a real wood piece. A lot of people get confused with veneer, and a lot of real wood pieces, back in the day, they would put a thin layer of veneer over the wood. And so those are still great pieces to pick up. And I can talk for days and days about how to fix missing veneer, broken veneer, all of that. Maybe I'll do another podcast about that. But I do have it all on my blog, on YouTube, on everywhere else I am. I've shared those tips and tricks. But so there is a way to work with veneer, even if it's missing or chipped. But veneer over wood, it is still a full, a real wood piece. So don't let that veneer scare you or make you turn away, because it is still all wood. Another thing that you can look for are like screws I'm trying to, like, if things are kind of put together by screws. So think of like if you were to buy a piece at IKEA or, Target sometimes, or where it kind of comes in a flat box and you have to take everything out and screw it together. That's definitely probably not going to be an all wood piece. So that's another thing to kind of look for. If there's bright silver screws somewhere, it's usually not an all wood piece. Same as like plastic pieces you would find inside. So it may be the sides of the drawer or underneath the drawer. Another thing is the metal rungs. So they can be metal or plastic. So if the drawers are sliding on metal or plastic, those are usually not all wood pieces. So definitely those are other ways to see if the piece isn't all fully wood. And when you open the sides of the drawers, if you're looking for those dovetails, on the sides of the drawers, if the drawer side just comes straight into the front of the drawer and you can't see anything on the side, usually those are put together with either a screw, a nail, maybe they're just glued together. That's another sign that it's not an all wood piece. So those kind of all kind of go together. Metal rungs, the plastic pieces, and I've seen plastic in different ways. So plastic can be the rungs on the bottom, it can be on the sides, and then I've also seen plastic pieces that are in the corners of drawers or in the corners of the outer shell of the piece, if that makes sense. So those are all good signs that it may not be all wood. Another thing to look for does the piece have casters? You'll definitely, if they've got the original old casters on it, the wheels are metal or they are wood, you'll know. If anything has plastic on the casters or the wheels, that's a sign that it's not real wood. But I just love the old casters. So anytime we can find a piece, and we actually save those, if we find a piece that's only got 2 or 3 of them, or maybe even 1, we save them. We kind of have a stash of them so that we can, if we find another piece that, they'll work on, or we're just missing 1, or we just need 2, we kind of got a stash of them. They're amazing. I just love pieces with casters. And so whenever I can find one of the original, especially the wood wheeled casters, it's like winning the lottery. It's like you got an extra special piece because you got the casters on there. So that's definitely another little sign that you can tell, a piece if it's real wood or not. Next, just look at the patina. Definitely you will see, you will be able to tell a manufactured piece, or kind of those, the pieces that we don't live near an IKEA, but I'm thinking a lot of the pieces like the cubbies we have bought and, to organize toys, or just kind of those pieces that you see everywhere, those kind of manufactured, they're kind of shiny on the outside. There's maybe a wood looking paper type of thing put over particle board, that kind of stuff. So just look at the patina alone. Are there water stains on top? Is there a perfect circle where a coffee cup sat, or, a cup of water and then there's a total water ring on it? That's a good sign that it's real wood. Is it just stained in different areas? Like maybe somebody spilled water and so there's a water stain on top of it. That's a good indication that it's real wood. I just recently picked up a beautiful table. I found it at a yard sale. It's massive. She said it was a library table. I'm not for sure if it is, but there's actually nicks and scratches and stuff in the wood, where I love that. It just adds so much charm and character. And I just think of all the stories and where this table has been. But a manufactured or a piece that's not real wood, it's not going to have that patina. It's not going to have that character and that charm that a real wood piece would have. Is it stained? Is it, stains come in all kinds of colors, and a real wood piece can be, an orangey color, reddish color, brown, even a dark black color. But just kind of look at the patina of the piece, will help you. But there are still, I've been doing this for years, there are still those pieces where you're like, from a distance, you just can't tell. And you have to do a little bit of more research, and kind of look at it back and forth and kind of in different areas. But the patina alone and just kind of the look of it will help you in the beginning And if you can tell with that, then definitely, you don't have to look further. But these other tips will help you when you have to look a little bit further and you just can't tell. So look at another place to look at when you're trying to decide, is this piece real wood or not? Look at the back of the piece. So obviously, if you see cardboard or like a thick, what is that? I'm trying to say, like sometimes at the back of frames, that thick, it's not cardboard really, but it's not wood. If that is stapled to the back, it's usually not a real wood piece. But if you have wood on the back, if you have even plywood, sometimes, the later pieces, but the backing, if somebody has cut out a big circle to, put wires through for a stereo or a VCR. Oh my goodness. Like a DVD player, a VCR. Oh my goodness. How long has it been since we've had a VCR? But you know what I mean. So those pieces are usually not all wood pieces. So another good thing to look at are manufacturer's stamps. So the older pieces, the ones that are all wood, they will have, I love finding these pieces or finding this out about a piece because it will tell you so much more about the piece and the history of the piece. So if you open a drawer or look on the back of your piece, sometimes it's a paper stamp. So it might even be like a full piece of paper. Sometimes it is just handwritten. Sometimes it's actually, stamped on there. Sometimes we have found them with actual brass kind of metal plates, they will say a brand or a name, that you can actually look up and see the history of the piece. Sometimes on the insides of the drawers, usually the top drawer on the inside side, if that makes sense. And then on the back of a piece. And that's just it's so much fun to find a piece and then actually be able to look up the manufacturer, the maker, when they were actually in business, where they sold pieces, all that kind of stuff you can find out online. So that's another surefire. You will know for sure that it's an all wood piece if you can find those stamps on the piece. Another good thing to look at is the hardware. And this is kind of tough because over the years, hardware breaks or it gets lost. And so people are putting brand new hardware on an old piece. But that's just something you can kind of look at and see if it's got the original hardware on it. That kind of helps to tell you the age and that it is real wood. Like I said, a little bit harder if somebody's changed out the hardware. But it's another win if you can find an all wood piece and it has all of its original hardware. Even if I'm painting a piece of furniture, I like to use the original hardware if I can on the piece because even if it's painted, it just looks amazing on there. Another thing, if a piece has a marble top. So I have picked up these pieces before. I actually, within the last 6 months, picked up a dresser that had a little piece of marble on the front. And I didn't paint it or anything. I just kind of had to freshen up the wood a little bit. And I loved it so much, I kept it in our bedroom. But if you have a marble top or a marble, like this one kind of just has a small piece of marble on the dresser, that's another sign that it's an all wood piece. And then lastly, if you have a mirror attached to the back with a drum, it's like on a harp, not a drum. It's called a harp. So it's kind of shaped. It's a wood piece that kind of goes on the back of like a dresser. And that wood piece is in the shape of a harp. And then there's usually a mirror inside that harp. And when I say inside, I mean, it's kind of screwed usually on the sides of that. And sometimes I have found it all. I have found just the harp and I've picked that up and we've repurposed just the harp for different projects. I have found pieces that just have like the dresser and the harp, no mirror. I have found pieces that have the dresser and the mirror, no harp. So you'll find it in all different ways, but definitely if you see a harp, with the piece or on the piece and there is a mirror attached or not, you just know that there was a harp there at one time. Sometimes you can just, by looking at a piece on the back, if there's no harp there or a mirror there, you can see where the harp originally was. So you definitely know that's an all wood piece. You can tell, okay, this did have a mirror. It did have a harp across the back. So you do know that's an all wood piece. So just a little recap. I'm just going to kind of list these to tell if a piece of furniture is real wood or not. The drawers, are there dovetails inside the drawers on the sides of the drawers? If there's veneer over the wood, that's okay. Don't get scared. It's probably still all wood. If you see, shiny screws or shiny nails, that's probably not a real wood piece. If you see plastic pieces on the rungs or, on the sides of the drawers or underneath the drawers, inside the drawers, if you see metal rungs, again, on the sides of the drawers, underneath the drawers, they're usually not real wood. If there are plastic casters on a piece, not real wood. Look for the old casters. They're either wood or metal. And just looking at the patina of the piece, you can kind of get a feel if it's real wood or not. And then look on the back of the piece of furniture and see what that back is made out of. That's another easy way to see if you have a real wood piece. And then always search for manufacturer stamps, no matter what they are. Paper, if they're actually stamped in there, handwritten, brass plates, whatever it is, look for those signs on a piece. Look at the hardware. Is there marble on the top? And then look for that mirror or harp that would have been or is on the piece to see if that is a real wood. And if you find that mirror and that harp, it is a real wood piece. So yeah, just some easy things to look for. And I know, especially in the beginning, oh my gosh, when I was first started doing this, I was picking up not real wood pieces, trying to paint them. Paint companies and brands have come a long way since when I started, like I said, but I definitely would encourage you to find real wood pieces to work with when you are refinishing, flipping, for profit, for your home. I just think the process goes a lot better. They take that paint or product or, if you're staining and refinishing, they just take it so much better. And then the outcome, they're just going to last a lot longer. So I would definitely encourage you to find a real wood piece. So I hope this helps. And if you are ever out shopping or find a piece, I would love to see it. Post a picture on Instagram, tag me at My Creative Days. It's so much fun. I love sharing the pieces and the things I find, but to see what other people are finding is just as fun for me. So definitely tag me if you post a picture. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week.